Tifu, by slapping my wife's ass, by user B pull her. Last night my wife and I were getting hot and heavy, and began having sex. During sex, I decided to put in a little spanking. This is where things got weird. As I slapped her ass in the heat of the moment, she bursts out with "Yes daddy, spank me harder." To preface, I knew she had some serious daddy issues. This initially was a turn on, but after a few seconds all I could think of was disciplining my daughter and my face went sour. I stopped immediately and felt awkward. She responded with, "What's wrong daddy, did you not punish me enough?" I walked out of the room and told her I needed a minute. Now I don't think I can ever have sex again. Dr slapped my wife's ass, called me daddy, now I can only think about disciplining my daughter and don't know if I can ever have sex again. Edit, so this my biggest post ever and it's about my wife calling me daddy, Lord help me. Anyways, we talked about it and she was really embarrassed and I told her it just surprised me and I wasn't prepared. We agreed on Sir winking face. Tifu, by having my pregnant wife catch me ordering takeout food right after I threw away the dinner she made, by user no tangerine 1844. Listen, I love my wife's cooking. She's amazing and heaps better than I will ever be in the kitchen. Her taste in food changed, and she has been eating things she would never eat otherwise, such as seafood. Ever since she got pregnant, she's been spoiling everything with too much salt. The food is almost inedible. She went to lie down since she was feeling nappy. I threw away the food since I knew she could not tell and ordered takeout food. I will head outside and eat there. She doesn't have to know. It will be a little secret between me and the delivery guy. No big deal. Little did I know she was listening in on me. Of course, it upset her and she began crying. She accused me of hating her food. Never. I came up front. She told me she never noticed and I should have pointed out what she's been doing earlier. But then began crying even more and said that it was true. I indeed hate her food. Now apparently I won't be able to see her naked until next year. Sex is banned in this household. And she said I can make my own food from now on. TLDR, my darling wife's taste buds changed since she got pregnant. She adds too much salt. I couldn't handle any longer and decided to order takeout food. She caught me red-handed and told me she will never cook for me ever again. Edit, I thought I should add that I do help her around the kitchen. I've been working longer hours lately and I can't help her around because of that. Yesterday she told me she never noticed she salts her food too much while eating. Update, we're good. I cooked us dinner tonight and gave her a foot rub. We talked it out and agreed to be honest with each other next time. She also called her cousin over today. Her cousin told her the same thing I did after she poured her in a bowl of soup. Wifey promised to get her blood tests done ASAP. And also before we went to bed she asked me if I could get her bagels from the store. TIFU, by getting my mom and my GF's mom to think we hated each other while we secretly dated, by user wonderful_ant_9069. This is more of a we fucked up, but here's what's happened over the past 8 months. So my GF's mom and my mom worked together. They became close friends last year and since then they've been trying to get her daughter and I, 19F and 19M, together. They made a few attempts at getting us to meet and it was annoying AF. All we kept hearing was how good we would be together. We never actually met each other until she was tricked into getting a job where I work. I had seen pictures of her but she looked even better in person. After getting to know each other over the next 4 months we realized we had a lot in common. Problem is we're both stubborn and didn't want to give them the satisfaction that they were right about us. So to repay them, we decided to pretend that we hated each other while secretly dating. If the relationship lasted a year then we would tell them about us. We made up a story about an argument we had one day at work. After that we would just randomly talk shit about each other to our moms and then sit back and see what their reactions were. It was hilarious and made it easier for us to secretly date. But last week, we probably took the joke too far. My GF was giving me some lines to say about her and we decided on I wouldn't be the first guy from work that she slept with. When I told my mom this one, she told my GF's mom about it. It started an argument between the two of them about how I treat her daughter horribly. Of course my mom tried to defend me by saying she's heard all of the insults my GF has said about me. 2 days ago we were told that they were no longer friends. We told them the truth about our relationship but I guess it was too late because they said some pretty nasty stuff about each other. Now my GF and I feel awful for breaking up a good friendship. We should have been honest about our relationship from the start, especially with two people who would have been supportive of us. TL, DR, GF and I didn't want our moms to know they were right about us being good for each other. We pretended that we hated each other while we secretly dated and it broke up their friendship. TIFU by ruining my country's National Art Museum's main exhibit, by Wood. So back in year 9 to 10ish we went on a school excursion to the National Art Museum in Canberra to go see all the art and take photos of stuff for an assignment. One of the activities we were required to do was to find images in Jackson Pollock's famous blue poles. Everyone except me couldn't see how a random slather and glob of paint could possibly be a koala, so to help my fellow pupils I kindly pointed towards where this image is on this giant artwork. Only I didn't point, I accidentally touched it, and if you've ever seen this painting or any of Pollock's work in person you'd know that the giant globs of paint don't ever fully dry inside. So there I am standing in the middle of arguably the most expensive painting in Australia with blue paint from a wet paint glob bubble I accidentally touched with about 400 to 500 people staring at me like I just murdered someone in public. To top it all off I also set off a proximity alarm which was the loudest alarm I've ever heard, think jewelry heist diamond stealing alarm. Got my entire school banned, I got kicked out of my German elective and had a school assembly about it too. Worst part is now even years later you're no longer even permitted to even enter the same room the painting is displayed in. I went back years later and the entire room is gated off like a crime scene. TL, DR. Touched Jackson Pollock's blue poles on an excursion and smudged it causing an entire school to be escorted to the exit and the exhibit to be permanently barred even decades later. Tifu by not knowing Satanists don't actually believe in Satan, by user Drjankowska. Last night, got home drunk, decided to get argumentative on Reddit, as you do. I've been an atheist for a long time, since I was about 10, I'm now 50. Someone told me that the Temple of Satan does not actually believe in Satan, but is a secular organization that does involve atheists and in my drunken confidence, I doubled down because I know two old school Laveyan Satanists and I presumed they actually believed in Satan. As it turns out, they don't. I had no idea because they've told me that they're Satanists and I just presumed and we've never actually had a conversation about what it involves. As far as I was concerned their beliefs were their own, and if they wanted to tell me they could. TLDR, I presumed Satanists actually believe in Satan and I was wrong and feel like a dick, but I totally got a bit stroppy about it on a Reddit thread after too many pints of Guinness.